Hello there everyone, it's Liz Cook here, your independent Norwex consultant, and I'm here today to tell you a bit about our amazing jewel in the crown of the products at Norwex, and that is our Superior Mop System. Basically it comprises of a mop handle which is telescopic, and then we have two different sizes of base. This is the larger one with a Velcro attachment at the bottom so that all of the pads easily attach to it first and foremost. Basically this is like a broom and a mop all in one. The best bit is this is the only bit of kit you need, plus your pads. You don't need to have a bucket of water carrying around with you. It's so simple, effective and efficient. All three words I absolutely love to hear. So we've got lots of tiles here on the floor in our house, but you can use this also on wood, on laminate, in fact any hard surface at all. It's also fantastic for use in bathrooms and cloakrooms where you have tiles, or hard to reach areas where you want to reach above the bath. You can easily do so using this system. Okay, so I'm just going to bring this head up to the camera for you to see closely. So here is a little locking nut which is up at the moment. What this means is that the head is literally going to move in that motion, just up and down. But if you push that away, it will then pivot. So that pivoting is the best way to use your pad and to mop your floor in a really healthy way. You're not going to damage, and it's the most effective way, is probably the easiest way of putting it. The other thing to say is this is also really easy to adjust. So if you've got a toddler in the house, they can help mum or the carer look after the floor for you. Very useful because it can go right down here and they can get carried away. But for us bigger humans, the most important thing is to adjust this so that this ball end here, which I'll tell you a little bit about why that's special, will fit up closer, so you're standing more upright. Most of the shop bought ones will be about here, which for me, and I'm just an average height, is too short. So I end up with lower back pain when I use the shop bought ones. However, since I've moved to Norwex, and this mop incidentally was in my starter kit, so I didn't have to pay for it, which is fantastic. So I've had it since day one. And this, you should have this sort of, pretend it's a microphone and you're kind of singing into a mic. That's roughly how high this bit should be for your best posture. And so if you just screw it clockwise, it then locks into place. So it's now the correct height for you. It's unscrew, so turn to the left and turn to the right to tighten. Okay, so that's the right height for me to be upright. As you can see, I'm standing upright rather than being stooped over, which is absolutely fantastic. It will go taller still, so if you're tall yourself or you have somebody very tall in the house, there's no excuse, everybody can mop. Okay, so let me just now explain to you the different pads that we have. So in the mop system itself, we have a dry pad and a wet pad. Okay, and it's quite easy to see the difference. The dry pad here is really soft and fluffy, as you can kind of see, and this is the wet one here, which is a bit more tight of a weave. Okay, so this one is when you would use your broom, and this basically preps the floor ready for using water. Okay, so as you can see, it's shaped, and I literally just put it on the floor. I position my pad and it's on the base already. Now you might hear a bit of suction. Don't know whether that's coming on the video very well, but this forms a really tight suction with the floor, and literally by working in a figure of 8, either towards you, whichever you prefer, or away from you, you're able to really maneuver this ever so easily around the island units, tucking under corners here. It's very easy to pivot, as you can see what I'm doing here. It's really easy to use, and you'll pick up any fluff that's on the floor. What it won't do is pick up larger bits, but you can actually work them into a pile on the floor. It's not too bad this morning, but there you go. You can kind of see that it's really, really easy to use. So once you've cleaned your floor, you then want to come onto the part of the wet pad. So just very easy to remove, as you saw. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this to my sink here. I'm just going to make it wet with water, because that's the other thing that's special about our system, is that you only need to use water, okay? So this is now really quite wet with water, and in order to wring out the excess, I'm just going to roll it over itself like so to make a sausage. So this is now wet with water, okay? I'm going to pop that on the floor, so I don't have to worry. It's a long time since I had toddlers at home, but I don't have to worry about what chemical residue is left on the floor for my pets. Now, if you are doing this on tiles, I would suggest you do it in a figure of 8 again, but it's really versatile, really easy to use. And the thing about it is that there's so little water on the floor that it doesn't take long to dry at all. So it's really, really easy to use. And if you've got a stubborn stain, you can literally do that on the floor, on the stain to lift it. So you can really make it user-friendly, okay? If you're dealing with a wood floor, what I suggest you do is lower this handle a little bit, so you've got it's a bit lower down here, and you work with the grain of the wood. Don't go across the grain, go work with the grain. So you might want to be doing it in a long, thin motion like this. That's a really effective way to use it. But as I say, it's just super, super easy to use. Now, I said I'd explain to you about this end here. This is actually a silicone ball. So if you've got a scuff mark on your floor, you can use this to rub on the floor to lift the mark. It's really great. So if you've got something like a heel mark or something from a rubber shoe, say, this is a really good thing. So don't forget, this is actually really quite useful, this bit here. And just to show you too that if you're in between things or the doorbell goes, that you can actually hang it off your work surface like this, so that if you just wanted to lift it off your floor rather than have it actually in contact with the floor, maybe you have a wood floor or something. The joy of this is the fact that so you can keep removing the wet pad and adding more water to it if you need to, or if you've got a spray bottle, you can take a spray bottle with you and just spray water on the floor as you go and mop as you go. But then when you want to go upstairs, it's just really easy just to take this upstairs with you to your bathrooms rather than having to carry the mop and bucket, because that's obviously cumbersome and you could very easily spill the water. The other thing I really like about it is that to store the mop, what I would say is you rinse your pad really easily under water once you've used it, let it hang to dry. But then all you need to store your mop, because all of our products, as you'll know by now, have a little loop on them, you just need to have a hook somewhere in your cleaning cupboard and you can store your mop system just like that. No stinky buckets, no smells, no chemicals, just using water. So I really love that. So that is the mop system, guys. I just want to also explain to you two other of the tile options and this gizmo here. So these two tile pads here, this is what we call the tile pad, and you can see that it's got that sort of zigzag on it. The reason for that is because it's designed for more ribbon tiles, where you have more of a zigzag. The dog is obviously getting very excited, for which I apologise, sorry about that. But you've got a zigzag here, which is good for getting a bit more abrasion with your using your wet pad. You use it with water still, but as I say, it's just slightly more abrasive. I'll bring it to the camera. You can see the blue line in there. And then this one, if you have a pet who sheds lots of fur, or maybe lots of daughters who have very long hair and seem to find lots of hair of theirs on the floor, this is great. Because it's a chenille pad, so this will pick up more hair than this one will. As you can kind of clearly see, the difference in the texture and the length of the chenille microfiber. They both do the same job, but this one is better where you've got more shedding from pets or humans. Either way. But these two that I've just showed you, the tile pad and the chenille pad, they aren't part of the system, but you can add the pads to your kit if you like. Last but by no means least, this is our rubber brush, which was designed for the mop system, so that when you end up with mess from the floor, you can easily, with your dry pad, you can get it off into your bin. So that's a really fantastic tool. But this is great on its own because it's fantastic for removing fur, pet fur, for example, from furniture, or if you have stair carpet, then it's really good where the tread meets the rise, that right angle in there. It's a really challenging bit to get the nozzle of a vacuum cleaner or something into. This guy is fantastic because you can really get in deep and flick out all of the debris that lurks there, the dust, the fur, all sorts of things. Anything there, this will get it out, okay? It's also fantastic if you have a pet who regularly lies in a certain spot on the carpet, because you can get their fur that settles quite deeply into the carpet. You can easily remove it and bring it to the surface with this guy. So this is our fantastic rubber brush. So you might like to consider that on it as a standalone product, but certainly if you're investing in the kit of the mop system, then I would suggest this is a fantastic tool for cleaning your dry pad. Okay. So I hope that's been helpful, and I can't tell you that the mop system has been revolutionary in our house. I love it. It makes everything so much easier. This floor is now dry. There's no water on it whatsoever, so that's just a matter of 2 or 3 minutes. So much faster than using the old-fashioned method of a twisty thing and where you've got a mop and bucket, because your product is so much more wet. This is better and infinitely faster, and there's no chemicals. What's not to love about that? So without further ado, I shall leave you to the rest of your day, and thank you for watching my video and hope it's been useful. Thanks, bye-bye.